Greg?
Here.
Mary?
Present.
Matt?
Here.
Richard?
Here.
And LaCicero here. Okay, we have a posting of the agenda,
Yes, it has been posted.
okay? And we have public comments.
Salute. Pledge.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now,
Beautiful thing.
public comments.
No public comment for items that are not on the agenda.
Okay, so now we have recognition.
Good evening, Parks and Rec Commissioners and members of the community. My name is Debbie Vasquez, and I'm the Older Adult Services Supervisor for the City of Morgan Hill. And with me this evening, I have Eileen Taryn Foster, and she is one of our volunteer drivers for our Getting Around Town program. You might not know a lot about that program. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later as I go over our programs and services. But Eileen, we started our program in October of 2017, so a little over a year, and she was our first volunteer, one of our first volunteers that we recruited, and she has been driving most of our rides. I want to say it was, how many, 500 and something, 548 miles, I want to say 155 hours. She does a great job. She's very eager to give anybody a ride. When somebody doesn't have a ride, she's the first one to step up. We couldn't do the program without her, and you know, what she said about the program is basically she doesn't want to leave anybody stranded. She doesn't want anybody to be a shut-in, and she knows how meaningful this program is to the people in our community. So on behalf of the Senior Center, we just want to thank you for your participation in our program and being a fabulous volunteer. So thank you so much.
Oh, and then we'll do a picture real quick with the commission.
Okay.
What do you want us to do?
You gotta take a picture.
last time. Is that how we did it?
Denise, come up here. You need to be here. Sorry, we need to get her up
We
here.
need
She's
everybody
actually-
here.
We have to thank Denise too, because she's actually the one that works with Eileen most of the time. No.
1, 2, 3, and one more. Cool.
Congratulations. Thanks for your help.
That's okay. If you school participants move up behind Doug here, you can go 5 minutes early. If you don't move up, you have to stay 5 minutes longer.
Nicely done, Ron. Wow, there you go. Everybody's up. Tell them who Doug is.
I lost it.
He's, you're going back to your teacher years, right? A little
It makes me,
positive reinforcement.
see?
Is this chair available?
Thank you. Yeah, you can be the first speaker.
Half hour early.
First director.
No significant report tonight, but I would remind commissioners that it is the start of the new year, and the city, in partnership with the YMCA, operates the Centennial Recreation Center. So if you don't visit there often or are not a member there, we encourage you, as well as everyone in the audience, to go start your new year off right with healthy habits, with new group exercise classes, a fitness center, and all those things. And you can go by and get a tour any day of the week, and just remind everyone of that.
I was there today. It was nice. It was packed with people. Very nice. And all of the workers were working, so I like that. Okay. The adoption of the agenda. Do we need to approve the December 18th meeting?
So, motion to adopt the agenda. We need a motion to adopt the
Yes,
agenda.
we need a motion, yeah.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. Now, the next one is, it says older adult services. Does that mean me? Older adults?
No. Commissioner, Chair Cicero, I think we adopted the agenda. That was the last motion, so we need,
Approve the minutes?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, sorry.
Actually, I have to abstain because I wasn't present. Sorry. Change my vote to an abstention, please.
so we need commissioners to vote. Just a reminder to commissioners, you are voting to accept the minutes, and you do not have to be present at the prior meeting to accept the minutes on the advice of our city attorney. So I will not direct any commissioners how to vote, but I think since if you would like to abstain, we need a new motion and kind of just start.
Just leave
over.
it the way that it was. Move
Okay.
on.
Is that okay?
You're okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So now, do we get to talk about adult services?
Looks like Magical Bridge update. Am I reading the right one?
You're on
That's
the
the
minutes.
minutes.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Good evening again. My name is Debbie Vasquez, and I'm the Older Adult Services Supervisor for the City of Morgan Hill. And again, welcome to the community who are listening in, as well as thank you for letting me be here this evening to talk a little bit about our programs and services that we offer here in the community. I'm going to give you a general overview of our department and the things that we do. I think it has been about a year since I was here last, February of last year. Sorry, I have a little cold. So just to give you an overview of our participation in 2015-16 for our senior program participation, this means any senior who participated in any program. So it's duplicated services. Our participation at that time was 29,933. You can see the growth over the 3 years. Currently, this past fiscal year, we're at 51,289. So you can see that we've grown quite a bit over the last 2 years. Our senior nutrition program, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, and we do offer a nutrition program Monday through Friday at our senior center where we serve about 76 meals a day. That program has also been growing. We have an average of 76 meals. We were at 71 in 2015-16. Our department is also responsible for our volunteer program for the Community Services Department. So we do all the intake for volunteers, and then we route them to the correct department depending on what they're interested in getting involved in. And the Senior Center tends to have most of the volunteers working within our department, but we do have a lot of other volunteers that are placed at different places within the city in our maintenance department, as well as with our facilities department and some of our other programs. So our volunteer hours, when we started this program in 15-16, 5,071, and we're now at 9,325 hours. Our staffing structure at the Senior Center, I am the only full-time city employee working on behalf of seniors. We have a program coordinator who's here this evening, Denise Milroy. She's about 25 to 30 hours a week, part-time teammate. We have 2 front desk employees who share a role, making sure that we have coverage from 8 to 3. So they're both part-time. We have one that works from 8 to 11:15 and another one that works from 11:15 to 3 o'clock. So we have full coverage at our welcome desk. And then we have 2 instructors, a watercolor instructor as well as a Tai Chi instructor who are employed with the city. And we have approximately 45 volunteers that are active, regular volunteers. So they're there on a regular basis, like at least once a week, if not more. The priorities for our department, in your packet, we had attached the age-friendly goals for our department, so hopefully you had a chance to look at that. Really focusing on communication and how we make sure that the good work that we do in the community gets out to the community. When I first started in 2015, this was a new position, and so we had a lot of things that we needed to work on in stabilizing the department, and then we also grew the program and started adding new programs, and so how do we get that information out to the community? We also took on the age-friendly initiative of creating an age-friendly Morgan Hill, and that's in your report as well. And we received that designation in 2016 for being an age-friendly city. And these age-friendly goals were all part of that particular application process that we went through. So communication is something we're always working on. You can see there are 8 domains that make up an age-friendly city: transportation, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, again, communication and information, community support and health services, and outdoor spaces and buildings. So we aren't just looking at the programs that we offer within the senior center. We're looking at a broader view of the city of Morgan Hill and how we make sure that we're creating a community that is going to be a place where people can live and age well, and a community for all ages. So what's good for toddlers is also good for seniors, and a community where everybody can interact together. We have a great opportunity at our CRC. It's an intergenerational facility. It was built intentionally that way, and so our city, we want to make sure that we're also keeping in mind our seniors and our youth, but the whole community. So transportation, that's where we spent a lot of our time this last year. I talked a little bit about the volunteer driver program. I have some statistics that I'll go over in a little bit regarding that program. And then community support. When I first started, we didn't have case management at the senior center. We were able to get case management through a grant with Live Oak Adult Day. Unfortunately, this year, moving into this fiscal year, they've lost their funding, so we're looking for case management again at our facility. We do have information and referral, but community support can mean lots of different things. We're considered the community hub for older adult services in our city, so even if it's a program or service that we do not provide, we try to connect the dots for people in the community. So we try to refer people to the right program and service that they're looking for. We get a lot of phone calls from people that live out of state, maybe a son or a daughter who's calling on behalf of their parents who might still live in Morgan Hill, and they're just trying to connect them to the right resources. So we do a lot of that. Senior Center sustainability. The Senior Services Department budget is not a very large budget, and we are in need of continuing to get funding to make sure that our programs and services can go on for the long haul. The aging population is growing. It's one of the fastest growing populations, and we need to be prepared for that growth. And so in order to do that, we need to raise more money. We are going to be rolling out a very large endowment program. We have a giving tree that's in our lobby that we're going to be rolling out, and there's going to be some naming rights and a full endowment program that we're working with the Friends of the Morgan Hill Senior Center. So the Friends of the Morgan Hill Senior Center is the nonprofit, and then as a staff support, we'll be working with them to raise the money that will go into an endowment fund that can, hopefully the earned interest can come back to help support the services that we offer. We had a strategic plan that was from 2015 to 2018. So when I started, the plan was done in March of 2015. I started in September. So I kind of had my marching orders when I got here. I received the plan, and I was able to look at that and see what the direction was that was kind of mapped out for the department. And we went to work, and we pretty much have completed most of the things that are in that plan. Some of them are carryovers that are ongoing work that we need to be doing all the time. But that strategic plan was 2015 to 2018. So this year, we're going to be going into another strategic planning process. The strategic plan for 2015 to 2018 was really focused a lot on stabilizing the senior center department. The senior center was operated by the YMCA, and there was some transition there from the YMCA to the city, and they had been without a director for a few years, and so really there was a lot of work that needed to happen around the senior center and wraparound services that go along with that. And so now we're looking at doing a plan for 2020 to 2025 that will be focused more on our age-friendly work and a bigger, broader scope and comprehensive services for the city of Morgan Hill. So we'll be looking at all of these 8 domains: transportation, housing, social participation. How does the senior center play a role in that? What partners are there out in the community? What are they doing? And so we're going to be working on that diligently over the next 6 months. Program development and pricing strategy. This is, again, goes along with our sustainability. A lot of programs and services that we offer are free to the community, or they're very low cost, at a nominal fee. And again, that's in the presentation, and I'll go over that. But we continually need to look at the pricing structure that we do have. There are some fee-for-service programs that we have, and which programs do we charge for, which ones don't we charge for, what demographics, and all of that. It gets a little complicated at times, trying to make sure that our programs and services are affordable, accessible, and open to the whole community. And again, program development, we have lots of great ideas. We would love to keep expanding our programs, but based on the staffing structure that we have right now and the large amount of volunteers that we have, the bandwidth for us to expand programs and services at this time based on our current budget, we're pretty much tapped for our capacity to take on a lot of extra programming and services. We could do that, but something else would have to give. Advocacy regionally and locally, we're a very involved department. We're involved locally. We're known as the place to go to find out answers for seniors. We're also involved on a regional level as well as on a broader global level. So changing aging. Again, Morgan Hill is very involved. Some of the ways that we are involved, we have a senior advisory committee. Cricket Rubino is the chair of that committee. We have several subcommittees on that committee. We have a transportation committee. I mentioned our volunteer driver program. We're also looking at lots of other alternative options for seniors. You can imagine if a senior is no longer able to drive, what kind of impact that has on their life and their ability to stay connected to their community. And so we really want to make sure that we have resources available to make sure that seniors can stay engaged, they can have social participation, they can get their health access, all of those things that are important to seniors and aging. We have an outreach and isolated senior committee. This one's important for many reasons. We want to make sure that we know who the isolated seniors are in our community, and this is something that we could use help from everybody in our community. If you have a neighbor that's isolated, maybe lives alone, maybe they're shut in and they don't have transportation, they don't have family in the area, we want to know who those people are. We do have a wellness check program that we operate out of the senior center where we have a volunteer call people in the community or people that have been to the senior center and they haven't been there for a while to call and check on them. So if there's somebody that you know about in the community, we want to make sure that we get their name and number so we can do an outreach call for that. Also, in light of all of the fires that have happened, a lot of the people that have not survived the fires were older adults. And we want to make sure that we know who those people are in our community who are most vulnerable, so if we did have a disaster or an emergency, that we could get to those people and get them the resources that they need. We have a South County Lifelong Learning Committee. This committee is really focused on what kind of learning opportunities we offer our older adults. And then we have a El Toro Social Club Committee, and that's more around social activities, social engagement, fun events that are offered throughout the community. And then I mentioned the endowment program. We have a committee that operates that. There's a SourceWise Advisory Council. That's the AAA agency for Santa Clara County, the Area Agency on Aging. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. Cricket Rubino is the Santa Clara County Cities Association representative, and I am the representative for the City of Morgan Hill. And we both are active on that committee. I'm also the chair of the SourceWise Transportation Committee. I'm also I'm on the California Parks and Recreation Society District 4 Aging Services representative, and I'm also on the state board for Aging Services. I'm also involved in the Aging Services Collaborative, and we're also part of the Age Friendly County Network in collaboration with the county as well as the Center for Age Friendly Excellence. And then on a national global level, our city has joined the World Health Organization as being an age-friendly city, and I will be presenting at the Aging in America Conference for 2019. The American Society on Aging puts that on, and I'll be presenting along with Diana Miller and Tracy Gott. and we'll be presenting on age-friendly and the work that we've done within the county of Santa Clara to get all of the cities within the county to become age-friendly. So looking forward to that. So Morgan Hill is well represented in the field of aging. We're very involved. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, but we have good people that help make sure we get it all done. Thank you, Denise. So just to give you more of a detailed, more of the granular level of some of the things that we do here in our local community. Socialization. Most of the people that come to the Senior Center come for social opportunities. You can see based on the slides here, this is our lunch program. You can see this was a Christmas celebration, I believe, that we had here leading up to Christmas. We offer nutrition program Monday through Friday. 5 days a week. We serve 76 meals a day. Lunch is served at noon. There's a $3 donation for that program, and if you're under the age of 60, it's $8. During that time, we also offer presentations, entertainment, parties, activities. The funding for this program comes from the county, and the YMCA is actually the administrator of the nutrition part of the program. So the YMCA gets funding from the county to operate that particular program. So we have dotted line management or group management, however you want to call it, collaborative partnership with the YMCA in that regard. But the Senior Center is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. In the morning, you can come into our lobby. It's very busy. We'll have coffee, pastries, card games, the TV, newspaper, puzzles, but mainly friendships. People are coming there to be connected and make new friends. We have free support services. This is around that health support, health services piece that I was talking about. We have health insurance counseling that we offer at the Senior Center twice a month. Senior adult legal assistance if somebody's in need of an attorney or they have a legal issue that they need resolved. We have an attorney that's on site twice a month, and that's a free service that's provided to anybody over the age of 65. We have Dementia and Alzheimer's Support Group the second Friday of the month. We have tax preparation that's offered by AARP that we're going to be in full swing for that again. Simple tax forms, the AARP volunteers do all of the preparation for that. We're starting our appointments now, and that will be going through the tax season. We have information and referral. I mentioned we're the hub for older adult services, so a lot of people call in and we just try to make sure that we're connecting the dots. So we need to know who all the partners are in the community, who's offering senior services. We do health screening in collaboration with Evergreen Valley College. They send their students down to do some health education as well as blood pressure and some other health screenings for us. Some of the other free programs that we offer, we have a computer lab at our Senior Center, and it's open Monday through Friday for seniors from 8 to 3. We have a computer drop-in center Wednesdays from 12 to 3. So basically, we have probably 5 to 6 regular volunteers that are retired, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, Apple. They come and they are there and available, and it's a drop-in computer lab. So anybody from the community can come in with their laptop, their smartphone, any device that they might not know how to use or they need help with, or they're not sure how to store their pictures or to communicate. They can come in. Sometimes it's hardware, sometimes it's software, sometimes it's security, and they can get their questions answered. Each of the volunteers tend to have their specialty, so they kind of can usually find somebody that they can work with during that time. We have knitting and stitchery group, quilting, card games, Mexican trained dominoes. We use the teen center when the teens aren't in it, so we've kind of taken that room over in the morning and the midday as our program space. And so you can see here some of the guys playing pool. We have people playing pool and ping pong, and a large group of people that are playing recreational games. Mahjong, movie matinee every Friday. We have karaoke with Chris and Denise, our very own Chris, comes over to the Senior Center, and he does karaoke at the Senior Center, and we love that. It's a lot of fun. We usually have our favorite songs. You can come too and sing a song. We'd love to have you. But you have to come see Chris at the next karaoke. Do you guys have the date for that? When is that, Denise?
February 8th.
It's coming up. We'll let you know before the meeting's over. We have a discussion group where there's a specific topic that they talk about. We try to avoid politics and religion, but other hot topics, and they just get together and discuss those particular topics. Creative writing class, we have the bocce ball court that the Rotary sponsored and put in for us, and that's been getting some activity. We have a regular volunteer that's overseeing that
Put in
now.
for Chris. They didn't put it in for, they put it in for Chris.
Oh, they put it in, yeah, he's going to come over and do bocce ball too. Haircuts are also provided. It says free here, but there is a $5 donation that's asked, but all of that money, the haircuts are provided by Sharice's Hair Salon, and they provide the haircuts, and then they donate the money back to the senior center. So that's a nice collaboration. Oh, you got one today? Yeah, it was haircut day today. Health and wellness. All our classes are including the CRC membership for free. If a participant is not a member, a drop-in fee can be paid for exercise classes. So we have lots of different classes. On the senior center side of the building, those are more the subsidized classes, and then on the CRC, more is membership side. So you can see here the fitness for arthritis is a $3 drop-in, 50-plus boot camp is a $5 drop-in, and then all of the other classes that we offer here are part of the regular CRC membership or CRC drop-in rates. But there's lots of opportunities for people to be active and healthy. We have some fee-based classes. Tai Chi is one of the best exercises for balance for seniors, and we have a beginning arthritis, arthritis advanced, and energy beginner and advanced. And you can see here we charge a small fee for that. We also have our El Toro Social Club that offers concerts, recreational activities, social events, and outdoor activities such as hiking and things like that. Our lifelong learning program, which I mentioned, we're doing educational series on the 3rd and 4th Wednesdays of the month from 10 to 12, and we do those classes at the Community and Cultural Center. Topics such as astronomy, let's see, what do we have this month? You Rest is this month, so it's all around staying active. So lots of different topics that we cover. Okay, so new initiatives, our Getting Around Town program. It's a volunteer driver program. It's door-to-door transportation. So volunteers use their own vehicles, and we screen the volunteers, and they're able to pick up seniors at their home and then take them to where they need to go. So either the pharmacy or the grocery store, and then they return them back to their home. All of the rides are provided in Morgan Hill only. This was a pilot program for the first year, so October 17 to October 18 was pretty much pilot. Yeah, and then we're beyond the pilot now. October 17, yes. We've given 458 one-way rides for a total of 1,218 miles, and we currently have 12 riders. Our oldest rider is 98 years old, or young. And 4 riders are over the age of 90. So you can see that this program is definitely meeting a need. Our average age of riders are 84. All of these riders are no longer able to drive. So if they didn't have this service, they might not be able to get out and get some of the things that they need in the community. We have 10 active volunteers. You met one of them this evening. 264 volunteer hours. And we are always in need of more volunteer drivers. We have people that move away or their schedule gets busy. There are some requirements that are necessary, and so there are also some hoops to jump through with making sure you have a clean driving record and you have insurance at a certain level and, a working car and valid registration and license. And so there are some, and there's fingerprinting and background check for being a driver. So we do screen all of our drivers, and so there is some work that needs to happen there. But we are looking for volunteer drivers that want a meaningful role giving back to the community. In order to enroll, participants can just complete an application at the Senior Center. There's a $25 non-refundable service charge. All rides are scheduled at the Senior Center. And you can see our fee structure here. 0 to 5 miles is $2, 6 to 10 miles is $3, and 11 to 20 miles is $4. So very nominal fees. Total amount collected to date is $1,427. Other initiatives, we have the Dementia Friends project. We are still working on this. Our next goal with this project is to really roll it out to the business community. And we have a new partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, which I'll talk a little bit about. Community Services Volunteer Program. Here's the website, or the email address, and where you can find out more information about volunteer driving. You can contact Ann and her phone number, 408-310-4258. We also have intergenerational programming that we're doing mainly in collaboration with our Kids Club at the CRC. The Kids Club will come down every other month, and they'll do some kind of activity, whether it's cookie decorating or Easter egg hunt or some kind of fun activity that we come up with, painting project or art and craft project. So we're looking to expand that program. And in your packet, I believe we sent out our first ever Healthy Aging Week we did in October in collaboration with the Chamber. So there should have been some information in your packet about that. That was an exciting new project that we took on. The Morgan Hill Chamber of Commerce started an aging council, and that was in July. And so we were invited to that first meeting, and we got together and started talking about how we could create a Healthy Aging Week. And lots of different partners were committed to that project. Activities ranged from health and wellness to hiking to movies to bingo, lots of different activities, and it ended with a resource fair that was on Friday. We had 450 older adults participate in our week-long events and activities, and we had over 50 community partners involved in that particular week. Now the Morgan Hill Aging Council is a subcommittee of our Senior Advisory Committee, and it's kind of combined with the El Toro Social Club. So moving forward, the Morgan Hill Aging Council is going to be looking at doing, kind of lifting up things that might be happening already in the community for older adults. Let's say Westmont is offering an event for older adults in the community, and the community doesn't really know about it. We're going to try to lift some of those things up and support what other people are doing in the community. And then where there's gaps in fun things, we'll try to provide some fun activities for older adults. So just back to the intergenerational programs and services, I think this is really important and something that we definitely want to work on at our senior center. Children involved in intergenerational relationships see enhanced social skills, better academic performance, less risk of using drugs, and an enhanced sense of stability. And so not only does it benefit the older adult, it also benefits our youth. And so we really want to try to do that more often. And we do have some community partnerships with the charter school and some of the other schools in town as well. So here's just a long list. I don't even have them all on here, but we couldn't do what we do without, again, our volunteers, as well as all of our community partners. There's so many that aren't even on here that I didn't get to, but we do have probably 30 regular partnerships that we deal with on a weekly basis. And so I just want to thank all of our community partners for being able to help us do the work we do. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of issues that are facing our older adults in our community that need to be addressed, and we aren't going to be able to address those without the community coming together to help make that happen. And so on behalf of our senior center and the city of Morgan Hill, I just want to thank all of our partners, and I believe that that's it from me.
Questions? Anyone have questions? I have a couple of questions. The lifelong learning, what does that entail?
So we have classes that we offer at the Community and Cultural Center on the 3rd and 4th Wednesday of the month from 10 to 12. And they're basically they're just topics of interest to the community. And we have, it's led by volunteer instructors. So we might have a professor at Gavilan College. Actually, we do have Gavilan College on the calendar coming up. So we'll have somebody come, and they're going to be giving the presentation. They don't charge us. They offer their services for free, and we charge a small fee to the seniors. It's $10. And they come and learn about that particular topic for 2 hours. And, there's usually questions and answers. So we have the Tule Elk coming up, information about Tule Elk. We've had, help me out here, Denise, because my brain's not working. We have the FBI. Yep. So we try to do some local. We've done some history, literature. So we try to have lots of different topics.
How do they find out about them?
So usually in the email blast that I send out, we try to put it in there. So the community will know about it. We'll usually try to get it to Nicole, so when she sends out her monthly events, as well as Maureen, we'll try to make sure that they have our information. We also put it in our print newsletter that we have at the Senior Center, so people will get it that way. And then, again, word of mouth as well. And we also have a El Toro Social Club website, and that has all of our lifelong learning classes on it, as well as our social events that we're offering.
Okay, my second question is the classes that they pay for, $60, $75 classes. How long do they last?
The class is an hour.
No, how...
Oh, how long is the
many-
session?
How many sessions?
The session, it depends. Usually there are about 11 to 13 classes within that session. So it comes out to about $5 a class.
Nice. And my third question is, you drive the seniors one way, how do they get back home?
We drive them back home. we don't take a senior anywhere without bringing them back. One of the nice things about this particular transportation program, SourceWise has a speedy shuttle, and they'll bring people to the senior center. They'll bring people from Gilroy or Morgan Hill to the Morgan Hill Senior Center or the Gilroy Senior Center, and there's no fee for that. But they can't do rides outside of the senior center. They can only bring people to the senior center. And so we knew that there was a gap in people that need to do other things besides just get to the senior center. We want people at the senior center for sure, but we knew that people needed to get their medicine and get to the grocery store and things like that. So that's kind of how we ended up with how our program works. So we have lots of options for seniors. We're actually working on a grid right now to better communicate with the community what those options are for transportation, because when you lose your license, you lose a lot of your independence, and we want to make sure that people know what their options are. You know, there's VTA paratransit, there's mobility management, which is tied into our nutrition program. We have our volunteer driver program, and then there's the speedy shuttle. So we're in the process of putting together a matrix so people know what those options are in Morgan Hill.
So does the volunteer stay with the senior until they're ready to go home?
It depends. In some cases, like Eileen, she has some regulars that she might take to like a hair appointment, and she knows the hair appointment's going to be an hour and a half, so she might take somebody to a hair appointment and then go do her grocery shopping for an hour and then come back and then take her home. So it kind of depends on what where they're going and what they're going to be doing. But we do have a software program called Ride Scheduler where we're able to put in some of the information about the particular ride and how long we think it's going to take, so the volunteer kind of knows what they're getting into. And the volunteer can go in, see what rides are available, and accept the ride themselves. So we don't have to call or send Excel spreadsheets back and forth. It's all online. They can log in. They see what rides are available. They accept a ride that fits their schedule. They don't have to work a certain amount of hours a week. If they're on vacation, they don't need to accept any rides that week. If they want to work just 1 or 2 hours, they can, like, I'm going to take those 2 rides this week and not take any more rides. So it's very flexible for those that want to give a little bit of their time but don't want a humongous commitment.
Okay, I've observed your program since 2015, and it is an excellent program. You run a good program. You have great volunteers, and I ask the people who are participating in the programs, they really, really like it, and I want to commend you for doing such a good job.
Thank you.
Commissioner, or Chairless Cicero, we have a speaker card on this item as well.
We have what?
A speaker card.
Oh,
Mr. Muirhead,
Excuse me?
whenever you're ready for him.
sorry. Doug?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners and staff. For the record, my name is Doug Muirhead. I live in Morgan Hill. Ms. Vasquez just covered so much, I'm not going to be able to say very much, which I suppose is a good thing. But I wanted to start off, I think Commissioner Van Keulen is probably the only person currently on the commission who was here several years ago when we had a presentation on the CRC, and the person giving the presentation mentioned that after showing off the fitness side of the house, he would try and get people to walk down the hall to visit the senior center, and most people didn't want to do that because they weren't old, and so there was no point in going to the senior center. And of the many things I admire about Ms. Vasquez and her team is she just doesn't like those boundaries, and so she just kind of, knocks them down or blurs them or whatever. So we're not seniors anymore, we're older adults. I prefer no longer young, but she uses older adults. And you heard her talk about the El Toro Social Club and the lifelong learning. I've gone to several of those talks. We learned about bobcats in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and city manager came and told us how our local government works. And there's this intriguing title next week, You Rest, You Rest. She mentioned the kids program. So all these things I think really show that we're trying to reach always a larger audience, and that's great. And that actually then takes me to the suggestion I want to make for you to consider, and that is when she talked about the Healthy Aging Week. I've listened to you the last couple of meetings, and you obviously feeling a little underutilized. The Library Culture and Arts Commission actually goes and sponsors a couple of events like Arts a la carte, and I've been thinking about how limited I felt the Amgen lifestyle events were last year. And so I kind of want to weave those together and have you consider, it's not in your work plan, but perhaps you could be a coordinator, sponsor, participant of a Morgan Hill enhanced lifestyle event for this next year's Amgen, reaching out to a broader part of our community, people that want to be healthy or want to be active, but they're not cyclists. And what Ms. Vasquez did with Healthy Aging Week could be, one of the inputs, maybe involve YAC, maybe involve service clubs at the high schools. I really don't know, and of course the few of you that know me know that I don't actually do work, I just come and suggest that other people do work. So I can only throw out ideas and not actually make it happen. But that's what I wanted to say. I'm really glad that you got a chance to get this high-speed overview of the older adult programs, because I do think we have very few people that are doing, a great amount of good work. So thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Maybe if I could just make one more comment on the item. The volunteer driver program, I think, as Ms. Vasquez said, like a year ago, we talked about it a little bit at this commission meeting, but it's one of the only city-run volunteer programs in I'd say Northern California, right? So most of the models that she looked into were all from Southern California, and there's not a lot of cities that do this, and we did this without the team there did that without adding any resources, and just started doing that based on the volunteers from our community, which is kind of a model for everyone. It's pretty, so you can tell why we're pretty proud of it.
It wouldn't happen without Denise. I'm sorry, I do need to keep giving her some credit.
Any other questions? Thank you so much again.
Thank
You
you.
have a great program.
Thank you for having me. And I would love to see all of you at the Senior Center sometime. It really is not a scary place. It's actually kind of fun. Actually, it's a lot of fun. We love it.
What is the senior age start point? 65 or?
Our facility, you can come in at 50, so you're able to join me.
Baby, not me.
They let me in there too.
You can't be 50.
Come on and
No
visit,
way.
Craig. Come on. No, I'm like just right there on the cusp. I am almost there.
For a second, that's just not true.
Thank you.
Next item.
You're on.
All right. So I'm going to do a brief presentation on item number 3, which is we're asking the commission to actually consider a resolution of support for a grant application. And I'll give you the background on the grant, then I'll tell you why we're doing this with the commission. So we are applying for a grant with the Water District, or we hope to apply for a grant with the Water District, and it would be to basically pave a Class 1 bike path on the Madrone Channel Trail, which is a priority for the bikeways portion of the Bikeways Parks Rec master plan. And we've been looking for grant funding for this, and we've applied to the Water District for grants. Typically, their grants relate to things that are happening next to their property, on their property, next to the creeks, those sort of things. And we've been talking to them about this project, and they said we would be eligible in this grant to apply for this project, which is a priority, so we're applying for it. We're going to apply for $200,000. That's the intent. We think that's about the right amount we can get. And we will, we're actually planning to start from the north-south because that has been the priority from our bicycle advocacy group and was prioritized through most of the communications we had, so linking Cochrane to Main Avenue. So basically kind of trying to tie the Coyote Creek Trail on that area to downtown. So we have a bike lane improvement project on Main Avenue as well. So it's kind of linking those things together. And we think we have a couple other grants in the works that will be able to fund most of the matching funds for most of the dollars through grant funding with this. If not, we can use our park impact funds to help with the development. However, we don't think we're going to have to do that because we think we have a few more grants in the pipeline, but this is the first one, so we have to start somewhere and have to have a backup plan. So we are actually asking the commission to adopt a resolution as we're trying to build, this is the first time we've done this since I've been here, but we're trying to build more supportive, a bigger case for our grant. So having not just the council, but the Parks and Rec Commission formally show the support is something we're going to be trying through this grant, and I think something, if it works, we'll be trying more often, so you may see more of these coming forward. So the decision in front of you is to adopt the resolution, but basically it's supporting the grant application, which will ultimately go to the City Council for their approval. I believe it will go on February 6th. They have to tell us we can apply for it, but we're hoping that you support it, and your recommendation, of course, or your action will, of course, go to them as they make their action as well. And with that, that concludes my staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
My one question was whether, if we have to use the Park Impact Fund to do the matching, whether that would impact any of the upcoming projects like Villa Miramonte and the sand volleyball courts.
Yeah, and so those are both recreation impact fund projects, those two specifically. We have a couple of park projects that are moving at a slower pace. The joint park at the Borello site being the biggest one that is waiting on the school district and some issues they're having with the site. So I think we would have adequate funds for matching without impacting other projects at this time.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution that's attached. Huh?
I do have a comment card for this item as well.
Oh, nobody said that. I'm sorry.
You were moving quickly.
We're trying to keep this thing moving.
Mr. Muirhead.
Ah, Doug.
Thank you for your indulgence. Doug Muirhead, Morgan Hill. I'm going to ask you to ask staff what assurances they've received from the Water District about this project. And as background, I attend the Water District Board meetings and a number of their committee meetings, and I'm aware that for over a year now they've been talking about revising their policy on joint use of trails. And this comes about because in olden days they just had these maintenance roads, and so they said, well, you know, if people want to walk on them, that's okay. But we have evolved, and cities now want to pave them and put in lights and put in art, and they just have completely changed what they want to do with those trails, and the district is not sure that, given their primary purpose of, you know, providing flood control and that sort of thing, that should be done. There was supposed to be a stakeholder meeting last year down in South County. It didn't happen. And so I raised the issue with the board chair and used the Madrone Channel, which I forgot to say I strongly support this project. But used that saying, I didn't want to see us go through the work of applying for a grant or even doing the project itself and then find out that the district had decided that this was no longer okay. The board chair, speaking without either policy committee or board approval, said, well, you know, North County is different than South County, and the district has, in fact, overridden their own resolutions and given exceptions. That's why we have the recreational trail on Upper Yagas between Watsonville and Lake Silvera. So I would just like some assurance that if we go ahead, our work will not be invalidated by a later policy decision by the board. If you would ask staff if they're willing to speak to that, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Any comments?
I'd like to make the motion.
Well, I have a question. So does the county have jurisdiction, or not the county, the water district, do they have jurisdiction over that trail, or is it our trail?
It's their property. We have a joint use agreement to operate on the trail. I'd be happy to answer, respond to Mr.
Why don't
Muir.
you go ahead and do that?
Mr. Muirhead brings up a valid point. We have a joint use agreement, just like the joint use agreement we signed for the project. We have several grants for to connect the West Little Yagas Creek Trail to Silvera Lake. We were actually able to approve those. We have confirmation from district staff that they think it will work. Can a future board come and change that? Absolutely. We don't have an agreement that says that, but I think that says it can't do that. What would be really, I think we're moving this project forward, but what is really beneficial is we'd be using the district's own money to build this trail, so they'd have a vested interest in not changing it. So I think this grant actually helps us in that process to kind of establish this. As if they don't want us to build on this trail, they won't give us the grant to build it and the authorization. And we've heard that the district at the staff level believes we're eligible and are okay with us doing this project. So I think it helps us move that direction. We'd all like to see a policy from the district that says, hey, every item you have in Morgan Hill is going to be a trail in perpetuity, and
You can't bind the board of
Yeah.
the future, in the future, yeah.
I mean, I think Mr. Muirhead can keep working on that, and we'd be supportive of him doing that for sure, so we can get to that point one day, but we're trying to work with what we have now.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, now Craig.
Does anybody have any more questions?
I will second your motion.
There's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Okay, the next item is work plan. And I'll just start with number one. I haven't had the opportunity to talk with Maureen or Chicky, so we're going to say we're working on it. We'll continue. Number two.
Well, actually, real quick. So last month we deferred Magical Bridge design elements to the Youth Action Council as part of our getting youth involved. Do we have an update on?
I don't have an update, but we will get to the commission. We'll coordinate that. We have kind of been working on a couple of the pieces with the design that aren't as, I would say, element-y, more of the big pieces, but we'll probably, I believe that we can get that probably done before the commission's next meeting.
Okay, that was it.
Thank you.
Did we pick up someone for the bicycle trails group? Are we still vacant?
No, it's on there, Mr. Berman, but he's not here to give you a report.
Oh, that's right,
I
yeah.
think Green is still left on there.
I think so. I can remove Green. Mr. Berman took the first item, the BPAC. I'm not sure if he took the second item, so we'll confirm that with him and remove Green. That's right, but he hasn't formally taken it.
Okay, the inclusive playground, we're moving along. I just was informed that what is it, the Grant Tuesday? Yeah, we got $8,200 donated to us, to the park on that Grant Tuesday. Chris and I are working on a couple of major donors They're like trying to pick fish with just your hands. It's hard to get hold of them. You can see them, you can even touch them, but it's hard to get hold of them. So we're still working on that. And we're still looking for people to help us donate to the park. Okay. Mr. Wentz, support planning.
Yeah, no update on the sand volleyball courts.
Update on the sand volleyball. Mr. Van Kulen, planning for CRC Health and Wellness.
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing. And Adopt a Park. No. We don't have anything on Adopt a Park.
Not at this time.
Okay. So, any announcements? No announcements? Good.
You were supposed to let them out 5 minutes early.
Huh?
You could do it if he
Councilman,
finishes
That's
it.
right now.
Don't
Don't
That's
delay
right
him,
now.
don't delay him.
I don't know.
Told them 5 minutes early. They moved up.
Just a second, guys. Just a second. No announcements? Okay, we're going to sign off these people that sit up front. The 3 people in the back can stay until the meeting ends. Come on up and get your paper signed.
Come on, Ron. Over here, guys. Over here, guys. Just right here.
Can we
You come up
adjourn?
here.
You guys in first. You were in front, right?
What's that?